I read 10 books in October, so let's review them. Hello, my name is Sophie and welcome to my channel. If you are new here, we post bookish content, day in my lives, all the good things. If you enjoy that kind of thing, please subscribe and stick around. It means the world to me. I can't believe that we're already in November, so I'm going back over the previous month, going through all the books that I read. I read 5 on my Kindle and 5 physical books. Let's just go through them. We had some good ones, some disappointing ones, but overall a really good reading month. So the first book that I read in October was Legends and Lattes. This is a cozy, slow-paced fantasy where we are following our main character Viv, and she is on a mission to make a coffee shop. Like, it cannot get any much more cozier than that, in my opinion. Obviously, she lives on like a planet where coffee is not very known. People don't know what it is. So at first they're very much like, oh, we don't want to try it, we're scared. But she has a good team of people around her, and they put this cafe together and they make her dreams come true. The one thing that I really enjoyed about this book was that I didn't have to worry about anything major happening. Like, it wasn't like I was at the end of like a Sarah J Maas book. I wasn't like, oh, what's gonna happen? I was like, okay, I'm chill, we're just having a cozy time. And honestly, it got me in the perfect mood for fall and autumn. I ended up giving Legends and Lattes 4.5 stars, which is very good, especially for cozy fantasy with not much plot action happening. I just really enjoyed the characters, and we also get a little glimpse of a romance at the end of this, which I'm so excited for to read the next book. And then I moved on to Belladonna by Adeline Grace. Now, if you know, I have been banging on about this book. I've been recommending it. I gave this book 5 stars. This is almost like, how would I describe it? It gives gothic fantasy. Like, if you like dark academia or gothic romance in a way, I've never actually read anything like Belladonna before. So I was very shocked to find out that I absolutely loved it. In this story, we are following Sigma, and she can see spirits after people have passed away, and she has a connection to our other main character called Death. His job is to take these spirits to the afterlife, so they leave like the earth realm. And yes, she has had a connection with him since she was a baby, so there's that kind of building up. And we're also following her trying to work out a mystery as to whether who is poisoning her cousin, because she doesn't want anyone else to die around her, because she almost has this, not curse, but she feels cursed because anyone that gets close to her ends up dying. I loved this so much, and I'm so excited for the next one. I'm actually picking it up extremely soon, so look out for that in my upcoming videos. Yeah, if you haven't read Belladonna, please go and do it. Even if it doesn't sound like it's up your street, I think you will like it. Like, honestly, I must have highlighted everything that Death said in this. I adore him. Okay, so the third book in October that I read was The Book That Wouldn't Burn by Mark Lawrence, and I'm going to be honest with you guys. I hated this book, and I wanted to love it so much. Like, the concept of a magical library that has like portals and time travel within it, I wanted to love that so much, but I just could not grasp it. I have tabbed some of it because there was some beautiful quotes, but I was tabbing it and I was like, please stop, Sophie, because you have no idea what's going on. And that was literally me the whole book. I didn't know, I didn't necessarily like the characters that much. I can't even tell you plot wise because I'm still so confused as to what I was reading. And let me know, please, if you have read this, because I want to know if you've enjoyed it. I know a lot of people have, and then some people really didn't. So maybe it's just one of those like hit or miss, depends who you are. But I gave this one 1 star. I probably should have DNF'd it, but I was filming it for a scavenger hunt video, if you haven't already seen. And I was determined to finish it, force myself through it, and just I think in the video I probably gave it like 2.5, but I was definitely settled on 1 star because that is what it is to me. Moving on to my Kindle now. I read 3 thriller books in 1 day for a video, so go and check that out before you hear my thoughts. And I read, the first one that I started off with was The Guest List, and by Lucy Foley, and in this one we are following a wedding that's happening on this weird island. We're following characters, multiple POVs. It was extremely fast-paced and interesting because there's also this like boarding school background that all the guys went to, and something horrific happened while they were there, so it's alluding to that at the same time. And I loved reading about how all the stories had a link at some point. It was mind-blowing. I gave this book a 4.5 star, which is very high for me because thriller obviously is not my favourite genre, and it thoroughly entertained me, and it was really good. I definitely want to pick more up of Lucy Foley's writing. I then went on to Let Me In by Claire McGowan, and this one was okay. So I rated it a 3 star. It wasn't horrific, it just wasn't, oh my word, this is really fun and good. Obviously thrillers aren't that fun, but to me they are when I'm like on the edge of my seat. And this one, we are following this couple that moved to Cornwall, and there's basically this background story that their house used to belong to a murderer, so they're currently in prison. So we have that POV, and then we've also got the POV of that said murderer back in the day before they went to prison, and we follow their story up until that point. So it is quite interesting in the way that you're flipping back and forth. However, I did find that it was very predictable, and I just kind of guessed everything that's happened, and I don't like that with a thriller. Obviously I want it to make sense and fit with the story. However, I don't want it to be so predictable that I'm like, yeah, this is going to happen, this is going to happen. He's connected to her, blah, blah, blah. So that is why I set it on a 3 star. But I think you should go check it out anyway, just to let me know what you think. And then ending on a low note for my thrillers of the month, I then read Alone in the Dark by Joanne Ryan. And this one, once again, guessed absolutely everything. We are following our main character who is running one morning and sees a hit and run accident. She goes over to this man, he's dead, okay? Or looks dead anyway. So she runs to a phone box, calls the police, yet when she gets back, the policeman is already there, the body is gone, and he said that when he arrived, the body was not there. So this policeman thinks she's lying, etc. And I thought this is a really good premise. I could love this because I was getting a bit creeped out by it. However, there's like this side plot where the author alludes to her ex-boyfriend who used to like abuse her in a way. And that just never came to anything. And it was just kind of like, oh, you're just trying to throw us off the scent. But it was obvious what was going on. It wasn't a shocking ending. So I ended up giving that one a 2.5 stars. Obviously not the worst rating that it could be, but probably one of my least favorite thrillers that I have read so far. On my trusty Kindle again, I then read The Cinnamon Bun Bookstore by Laurie Gilmore. And I read this as part of my little book club that I have with one of my best friends, Liv. We alternate a book each month. Well, we've recently just started it. The Cinnamon Bookstore was our first book that we ever chose. However, it was so fun to know that we'd be reading it together, especially putting our thoughts into Fable. And I'm so glad that she picked this one because I did give it a 4 star. And I really do love Laurie's writing. She really does capture like a small town essence. I think the only thing that didn't make this like a 5 star for me was I was expecting those autumnal fall vibes, like Cinnamon Bun Bookstore. It was kind of set in the summer. That's the only bit that kind of threw me off. It was like summer nearing towards autumn, and I just wanted more of those cozy fall vibes. But I loved the 2 main characters. Their chemistry was really good. We have our female main character who is working in a bookstore, and she finds these clues within books telling her to go on these little journeys. She gets our male main character who is this fisherman, and they've known each other quite a long time, to help her. He's actually infatuated with her. He always has been, and it's so nice and refreshing to read a book where the man is obsessed, because I love that trope so much. But yeah, this was a 4 star for me, and it was everything that I needed it to be in the moment. Okay, I'm gonna try and hurry because the lighting is now going down. It's so hard filming in the UK because it's now getting dark at like 4:30 in the afternoon. Like, that is crazy. Moving on to our next read of October, I read Lightlark by Alex Astor. This was a book pick for my other book club that I'm in, just a bigger one like online with all the girlies from TikTok. And I had such high hopes going to this. 1, I absolutely loved the cover, it's beautiful, and 2, I just heard really good things. I'm gonna sneeze again. Am I? I don't think so. Obviously, major high hopes going into it. Honestly, I predicted like 4.5, 5 stars, because I always want to love fantasy books. Like, I want to love every book I read, obviously, but especially a fantasy series. But if I'm being honest, I didn't get invested. I was slightly not confused about the concept, but I was at the same time. We're basically following main character Isla. She's gone to this event called the Sentinel, where other leaders of their realms come together to break a curse. And it gives almost like trials and potential love triangle in a way, but I wanted it to be so much more. I definitely think the last 50 pages did get me hooked for the next book. However, it didn't push the rating up for this book too much, because obviously I spent 90% of the book not enjoying it immensely. So I ended up giving Light Luck a 3 star. And I think this is okay, like middle of the range, because I think it has potential, and I'm still going to pick up the next one, but I'm obviously not running to go and do that. Onto my beaten down copy up of Fangirl Down by Tessa Bailey that I got off Vinted. I read this in the same video that I actually read Light Luck in, and I thoroughly enjoyed this book quite a lot. It was a really fun concept. I ended up giving it 3.5 stars. And in this, we are following our main character. She is a huge fan of this professional golfer, and she's trying to get his attention, or she's always supported him. He actually knows who she is. However, it comes down to it that she then has to become his caddy. So almost like his assistant on the golf course. As he wants to end his career, she thinks he should carry on, and he just needs someone to believe in him because he doesn't anymore. And the banter in this, so good. Like, I cannot explain. I do love a romance that's got that sports element in it, but obviously it doesn't actually focus too much on golf. Obviously it mentions a few tournaments and things, but you don't need to be a golf fan to understand that. It just is really good. And also our main character also has diabetes in this, so we also have her struggling to do that. And the way that this man cares for her, you won't believe it. You've got to read it. Yeah, it's fun, it was fluffy, it was exactly what I needed in the moment, and I'm so glad that I finally picked it up because it has been on my TBR for an extremely long time. And then the 10th book that I read October was Wild Eyes by Elsie Silver, and yet again the Queen provided. I gave this book 4.5 stars, and as a single dad trope, this means that I love this book because that trope is not really for me. However, I heard all the girlies obsessing over Western, and I thought, oh, it can't be that good. Well, my blue-eyed boy, I love him. Please go and read it. Wild Love was a 3 star for me, but this one, 4.5, so much better. It honestly gave so much more small town vibes as well, and that is what I was missing from the first book, Wild Love. If you don't know, this is Elsie Silver's newest series called the Rose Hill Ranch series, and I think all the books are going to be single dad tropes. So yeah, and it's quite funny because all the dads are in this bowling group together. Elsie Silver writes such good found family. All the characters get on so well, and I love hearing about all the side characters as well. It's so good, and she sets up for the next books really, really well. So there we have it. That is my wrap up for October. I'm gonna try and start doing these once a month because I think it's good to look back on and see if I liked things, if you don't catch my reading vlogs. But definitely catch up on any videos that I posted that you haven't seen, because some of these are in there. Well, the majority of them are in those vlogs as well. And give this video a like if you have enjoyed, and subscribe to see my face again. I shall see you in the next one.